أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا.
Translation: Surely Allah has given to you, O Prophet ﷺ, a manifest victory. Explanation: Surah Al-Fath was revealed in the month of Dhul Qadha, 6AH 628 AD, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was returning to Medina after concluding a peace treaty with Meccan polytheists at Hudaybiyah, near Mecca. Allah describes this treaty as manifest victory of Muslims. Brief history: 6 years had elapsed after the immigration of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to Medina, and in between these years, 3 wars were fought between Meccan polytheists and Muslims, namely, first, the Battle of Badr, 2AH 624 AD, second, the Battle of Uhud in 3AH 625 AD, and third, the Battle of Trench, 5AH 627 AD. In 6AH 628 AD, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ saw in a dream that he and his companions have entered Makkah and they were doing tawaf of Kaaba. When this dream was disclosed to Sahaba, they were jubilant, and it was decided that the Prophet ﷺ and Sahaba will perform Umrah that year. The Prophet ﷺ, along with 1400 Sahaba, started in Ihram from Medina with the intention of Umrah in the month of Dhul Qadha, 6AH. They carried 70 camels with them for the sacrifice. It is in Quran, indeed Allah has in all truth shown the vision to His Apostle ﷺ that, Allah willing, you shall enter the Masjid al-Haram, fearless and secure, to perform Umrah or Hajj, and some having their heads shaved and others having their hair cut, for He knows what you do not know. So He granted you a near victory before the fulfillment of that vision. Al-Fath 27. The above verse clarifies that Allah granted near and manifest victory to Muslims before the fulfillment of the dream of the Prophet ﷺ. It was the practice of Quraysh for many centuries that they will not stop anyone from entering Makkah who was coming unarmed with the intention of Hajj and Umrah. However, when the news of the large group of Muslims coming with the intention of Umrah reached the Quraysh, they got alarmed and decided to stop Muslims from entering Makkah. Quran testifies that this was because of their arrogance and hatred of Muslims. Muslims were halted at a place called Hudaybiyah, which was close by Makkah, and to clear any of the Quraysh's possible apprehensions, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sent Uthman bin Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu to Makkah to explain them the intention of Muslims to perform Umrah as they were traveling in Ihram, unarmed and even carrying animals for sacrifice. Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu explained the facts to the Makkans, but they remained adamant not to allow Muslims in Makkah. Rather, he was held up in Makkah and not allowed to go back to Hudaybiyah. As nothing was heard from Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he did not return from Makkah, a rumor was spread that he was martyred by Meccan Quraysh. The Muslims were not expecting that kind of hostility by Meccans. Alarmed by the developments, the Prophet ﷺ took a pledge of allegiance from the 1400 Sahaba that they will fight with the Quraysh until their death. This is known as Bayt-e-Ridwan in Islamic history. It is in Quran, indeed, those who pledge allegiance to you, O Muhammad ﷺ, they are actually pledging allegiance to Allah. The hand of Allah is over their hands. So he who breaks his word only breaks it to the detriment of himself, and he who fulfills that which he has promised Allah, he will give him a reward. Al-Fath 10. The news of pledge of allegiance reached Meccan polytheists, but the deadlock continued for some more days. In the meantime, 4 envoys from Quraysh came to the apostles of Allah ﷺ, and they were explained that the Muslims did not come to fight, rather they came to perform Umrah. But the Quraysh remained adamant and refused to allow Muslims to proceed any further. One of their envoys, Urwa bin Masud al-Taqawi, went back to his people and reported as follows. It is in Hadith, Miswar radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrated the account of the Treaty of Al-Hudaybiyah, in which Urwa came to Prophet ﷺ to negotiate its terms, and when returned to his people, he said, O people, by Allah, I have been to the kings and to Caesar, Khusrau and An-Najashi, yet I have never seen any of them respected by his courtiers as much as Muhammad ﷺ is respected by his companions. By Allah, if he spat, the spittle would fall in the hands of one of them, Sahaba, who would rub it on his face and skin. If he ordered them, they would carry out his order immediately. If he performed ablution, they would struggle to take the remaining water, and when they spoke, they would lower their voices and would not look at his face constantly out of respect. Bukhari, Ahmad, Tabrani, Ibn Hibban, Bayhaqi, etc. The Quraysh finally released Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and sent Suhail bin Amr al-Taqawi to negotiate the terms of peace with Muslims. After negotiations, a peace treaty was signed by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Suhail on behalf of Meccan polytheists. This treaty is known as the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The terms of the treaty were as follows. First, there will be cessation of hostilities between the two sides, Quraysh and Muslims, for the following 10 years. Second, any person or tribe who wishes to join Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and to enter into any agreement with him is free to do so. Likewise, any person or tribe who wishes to join the Quraysh and to enter into any agreement with them is free to do so. Third, if any Meccan went to Medina, then Muslims would return him to Makkah. But if any Muslim from Medina went to Makkah, he would not be returned. Fourth, if any young man from Makkah or one whose father is alive goes to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ without permission from his father or guardian, he will be returned back to his father or guardian in Makkah. But if anyone goes to the Quraysh from Medina, he will not be returned back. Fifth, Muslims will return back without entering Makkah. However, next year, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his companions can enter Makkah, spend 3 days and perform Umrah. After concluding the treaty, the Prophet ﷺ asked Sahaba to slaughter sacrificial animals at the same place, Hudaybiyah, and get their heads shaved and come out of Ihram. The terms of the above agreement showed that Muslims had accepted many of the demands of the Meccan polytheists. However, the treaty proved to be a massive victory for Muslims as Meccan Mushrikeen for the first time recognized the Islamic State in Medina by signing the treaty. The treaty allowed Muslims living in Makkah to practice Islam publicly. Many people who had become Muslims at heart but were afraid to disclose their faith publicly were now free to live as Muslims in Makkah. Following this treaty, many Arab tribes also entered into treaties with Islamic State in Medina. People realized the truthfulness and sensed the eventual triumph of Islam. Thus, they started entering into Islamic fold in thousands. The following year, 7 AH 629 AD, Prophet ﷺ traveled to Makkah for Umrah, and this time he had over 2,000 pilgrims with him instead of 1,400 earlier. The Meccan conquest is closely related with the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. The conquest of Makkah. There were two tribes around Makkah, namely Banu Bakr and Banu Khaza, who had enmity between them for centuries and who were often involved in bitter fight with each other. After Hudaybiyah agreement, Banu Bakr tribe joined Meccan Quraysh and Banu Khaza tribe entered into alliance with Muslims. The first year and a half went peacefully after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. However, after 20 months from the treaty, Banu Bakr attacked Banu Khaza in Shaban 8 AH. They killed many people from Banu Khaza and did not spare them even when they took shelter in Makkah. In this attack, their allies, Quraysh, supported them with men and arms. It was an open violation of the peace treaty by Quraysh, as they were not supposed to help a tribe to attack another tribe who were in alliance with the Muslim state of Medina. Banu Khaza sent a delegation to Medina to inform the Prophet ﷺ about the attack, and the Prophet ﷺ demanded Quraysh to pay ransom to Banu Khaza for all their persons killed in the attack and to terminate their treaty with Banu Bakr. Quraysh rejected the Prophet ﷺ's demands. Thus, the Treaty of Hudaybiyah got abrogated automatically. Muslims declared the abrogation of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah publicly. Following Muslims' public declaration of the abrogation of the peace treaty, Quraysh sent a delegation to Medina petitioning to maintain the treaty. The leader of Meccan Quraysh, Abu Sufyan, also traveled to Medina to request Muslims to hold on to the treaty. Since Quraysh refused to accept Muslim demands, Muslims did not agree for the continuation of the peace treaty and the matter got stalemated. A few months on, the Prophet ﷺ asked Muslims to prepare for a battle, but it was kept secret that who will they fight with. On Prophet ﷺ's command, many tribes rushed to Medina to join forces for the impending battle. The volunteers came in thousands on Prophet ﷺ's call. The Muslim army set out for the battle in early Ramadan, 8 AH 629 AD. On the way, many tribes joined. The volunteers and the contingents from various tribes swelled into 10,000 strong. The army reached near Makkah and stayed at Mar-uz-Zahran, located 10 miles northwest of Makkah. The Prophet ﷺ asked everyone in the army to light a fire in the night. When 10,000 fires were lighted, it gave a scary look to Meccans. It looked as if tens of thousands of people were there in the Muslim army. Makkah was effectively in siege as Muslims sealed all the routes of escape from Makkah. The Quraysh were perplexed with this sudden attack. The city eventually surrendered to Muslims without any bloodshed within a few days of Ramadan, 8 AH. The Prophet ﷺ recited the following verse while entering Makkah. It is in Quran, and proclaim, O Prophet ﷺ, the truth has come and falsehood has vanished. Surely falsehood is ever bound to vanish. Al-Isra 81. After Muslims entered Makkah, all idols in and around Kaaba were taken down and the sanctuary was cleaned from all traces of idol worship. The Meccan assembled at the Kaaba and the Prophet ﷺ delivered the following address. There is no God but Allah. He has no associate. He has made good his promise that he held to his servant and helped him and defeated all the confederates. Bear in mind that every claim of privilege, whether that of blood or property, is abolished except that of the custody of the Kaaba and of supplying water to the pilgrims. Bear in mind that for anyone who is slain, the blood money is 100 camels. O people of Quraysh, surely Allah has abolished from you all pride of the time of ignorance and all pride in your ancestry. Because all men are descendants from Adam alayhi salam, and Adam alayhi salam was made of clay. Then turning towards people, the Prophet ﷺ said, O Quraysh, what do you think that I should accord you? They replied, Mercy, O Apostle of Allah ﷺ. We expect nothing but good from you. Then he declared, This day there is no reproof against you. Go your way, for you are free. It was a general amnesty for the Meccans who had tortured Muslims for 13 long years and fought with them the previous 3 wars. The people of Makkah realized the truthfulness of Islam and almost all of them became Muslims.
ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما.
Translation: So that Allah may forgive you Ummah's past as well as future sins and may perfect His blessings upon you all and keep your Ummah on the right path. Explanation: While translating, some people relate the above verse with the person of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. This is not a correct understanding. Allah swears to testify the innocence and greatness of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ throughout the Quran. It is in Quran, by the star when it sets, your companion, Apostle Muhammad ﷺ, neither erred intentionally nor unintentionally. He does not speak of his own desire. It is the revelation revealed to him. The mighty in power, Allah has taught him the knowledge. An-Najm 1-5. It is in Hadith. It is narrated by Ibn Umar, Abu Huraira and Anas radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told his companions, I am not like you. I live with my sustainer, Rabbul Alameen, who feeds and provides me with drink. Bukhari, Muslim. It is in Hadith narrated by Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, since how long he is the Prophet? He replied, when Adam alayhi salam had not yet had his spirit joined to his body. Tirmidhi. It is in Hadith. It is narrated on the authority of Abdullah bin Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that when the Apostle of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken for the night journey, he was taken to Sidratul Muntaha, which is situated on the sixth heaven, where terminates everything that ascends from the earth and is held there, and where terminates everything that descends from above it and is held there. It is to reference to this that Allah said, when that which covered the Lot tree. An-Najm 16. He, the narrator, said it was gold moths. He, the narrator, further said, the Apostle of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given three things. He was given 5 prayers, the concluding verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, and remission for serious sins for those among his ummah who associate not anything with Allah. Muslim, book number 1, hadith number 338.
وَيَنْصُرَكَ اللَّهُ نَصْرًا عَزِيزًا.
Translation. And that Allah may award you a convincing victory.
هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما.
Translation. He is the one who sent down serenity upon the hearts of the believers so that they may increase even more in their faith. To Allah alone belong the forces of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. Explanation. The above verse refers to the anxiety of Muslims as they were going for Umrah, unarmed, and were not sure what will be the reaction of Meccan polytheists against them. Meanwhile, the Munafiqeen in Medina did not expect Muslims to come back safe from this travel. The anxiety of Muslims increased when they were stopped on the way and also when they heard the rumor that Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was martyred by Quraysh. In addition, when the Prophet ﷺ took the pledge of allegiance of every Muslim in Hudaybiyah to fight till death against the polytheists, it was an anxious moment for the Muslims. All these occasions were really scary during the travel. Allah says that these were the moments when He sent down serenity to the hearts of Muslims so that they increase even more in their faith.
ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما.
Translation. He caused you to do as you have done, so that He may admit the believing men and believing women into the gardens beneath which rivers flow, to live therein forever, and remove their ills from them. And that is the highest achievement in regard to people in the sight of Allah. Explanation. The above verse testifies that all that was done in Hudaybiyah by the Prophet ﷺ was directly done under the guidance and execution by Allah. It was a mercy on the believers who were to be rewarded abundantly in both the worlds.
وَيُعَذِّبَ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْمُنَافِقَاتِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ وَالْمُشْرِكَاتِ الظَّانِّينَ بِاللَّهِ ظَنَّ السَّوْءِ عليهم دائرة السوء وغضب الله عليهم ولعنهم وأعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا.
Translation. And that He may punish the hypocrite men and the hypocrite women and the pagan men and the pagan women who entertain an evil thought about Allah, A turn of evil shall befall them, for Allah's wrath is upon them. He has laid His curse on them and prepared for them the fire of hell, which is a very evil abode.
وَلِلَّهِ جُنُودُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا.
Translation: The forces of heaven and earth belong to Allah. He is Almighty, All-Wise.
إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ شَاهِدًا وَمُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا.
Translation: Surely we have sent you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as a witness, as a bearer of glad tidings, and as a warner. Explanation: The above verse describes Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a witness, a bearer of glad tidings, and warner to humanity. Witness of a person who has only heard about a thing is not accepted in the court of law. Witness of a person who has seen the things from his eyes is accepted. Thus, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the one who knows and sees all the physical and spiritual aspects of this cosmos.
لِتُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَتُعَزِّرُوهُ وَتُوَقِّرُوهُ وَتُسَبِّحُوهُ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا.
Translation: Therefore, O mankind, you should believe in Allah and His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, respect and revere the Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and glorify him in the morning and evening. Explanation: The respect and love of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is part of Iman. Muslims are required to love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than their own selves. His decision in collective and individual issues of the believers is binding upon them even if they are unable to comprehend it. First, it is in Quran, O believers, obey Allah and His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and do not turn from him while you hear his order. An-Anfal 20. Second, it is in Hadith. It is narrated on the authority of Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, None of you will have faith till he loves me more than his father, his children, and all mankind. Bukhari. Second. Third, it is in Hadith. It is narrated on the authority of Abdullah bin Hashim radiallahu ta'ala anhu that he said, We were with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was holding the hand of Umar bin al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to him, O Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are dearer to me than everything except my own self. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, No, by him in whose hand my soul is, you will not have complete Iman till I am dearer to you than your own self. Then Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to him, However, now by Allah you are dearer to me than my own self. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Now, O Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, you are a true believer. Bukhari. Fourth, it is in Hadith. It is narrated on the authority of Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu that a man asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about the hour, saying, When will the hour be? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, What have you prepared for it? The man said, Nothing except that I love Allah and His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, You will be with those whom you love. Anas radiallahu ta'ala anhu continued, We had never been so glad as we were on hearing that saying of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Therefore, I love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and I hope that I will be with them because of my love for them, though my deeds are not similar to theirs. Bukhari.
إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم فمن نكث فإنما ينكث على نفسه ومن أوفى بما عاهد عليه الله فسيؤتيه أجرا عظيما.
Translation: Indeed, those who pledge allegiance to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are actually pledging allegiance to Allah. The hand of Allah is over their hands. So he who breaks his word only breaks it to the detriment of himself, and he who fulfills that which he has promised Allah, he will give him a great reward. Explanation. The above verse refers to the pledge of allegiance taken by Prophet Muhammad ﷺ from Sahaba in Hudaybiyah.
سيقول لك المخلفون من الأعراب شغلتنا أموالنا وأهلنا فاستغفر لنا يقولون بألسنتهم ما ليس في قلوبهم قل فمن يملك لكم من الله شيئا إن أراد بكم ضرا أو أراد بكم نفعا بل كان الله بما تعملون خبيرا.
Translation. Those of the Bedouins who stayed behind will say to you, our possessions and our families occupied us, so ask forgiveness for us. They say with their tongues what is not in their hearts. Say, who then has any power to intervene on your behalf with Allah? If He intends to hurt you or intends to benefit you? Nay, but Allah is all aware of what you do. Explanation. The above verse refers to people living in the outskirts of Medina, whom the Prophet ﷺ had invited to join him in his journey for Umrah. However, they did not leave their homes in spite of their claim to faith just because they were afraid of death.
بل ظننتم أن لن ينقلب الرسول والمؤمنون إلى أهليهم أبدا وزين ذلك في قلوبكم وظننتم ظن السوء وكنتم قوما بورا.
Translation. In fact, you thought that the Apostle ﷺ and the believers would not ever return from their mission to see their families, and that thought heartened you. You imagined and anticipated the worst for them. You are a worthless, wicked people.
وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا.
Translation. He who does not believe in Allah and His Apostle ﷺ should know we have prepared for unbelievers a blazing fire.
وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَغْفِرُ لِمَن يَشَاءُ وَيُعَذِّبُ مَن يَشَاءُ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا.
Translation. And to Allah belongs the sovereignty of the heavens and the earth. He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills. And Allah is most forgiving, most merciful.
سيقول المخلفون إذا انطلقتم إلى مغانم لتأخذوها ذرونا نتبعكم يريدون أن يبدلوا كلام الله قل لن تتبعونا كذلكم قال الله من قبل فسيقولون بل تحسدوننا بل كانوا لا يفقهون إلا قليلا.
Translation. When you set forth to take the spoils of war, those who stayed behind will say, let us come with you. They wish to change Allah's decree. Tell them plainly, you shall not come with us. Allah has already said this before. Then they will say, nay, but you believers are jealous of us. Whereas there is no question of jealousy, but little do they understand such things.
قل للمخلفين من الأعراب ستدعون إلى قوم أولي بأس شديد تقاتلونهم أو يسلمون فإن تطيعوا يؤتكم الله أجرا حسنا وإن تتولوا كما توليتم من قبل يعذبكم عذابا أليما.
Translation: Tell the Bedouin Arabs, nomads, who stayed behind, you shall soon be called upon to fight against a mighty people, then either you will fight or they will embrace Islam. Then if you obey, Allah will grant you a good reward. But if you turn away, as you have done before, He will inflict on you a painful punishment. Explanation: The above verse was the prophecy and foretelling about the wars Muslims fought with Iranian, Sasanian, and Christian Byzantine empires during the caliphate of Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu.
ليس على الأعمى حرج ولا على الأعرج حرج ولا على المريض حرج ومن يطع الله ورسوله يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومن يتول يعذبه عذابا أليما.
Translation: There is no blame or sin on the blind, nor there is blame or sin on the lame, nor there is blame or sin on the sick, excused not to go to war. Whoever obeys Allah and His Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam, He will admit him to gardens beneath which rivers flow, and whoever turns back, He will punish with a painful punishment.
لقد رضي الله عن المؤمنين إذ يبايعونك تحت الشجرة فعلم ما في قلوبهم فأنزل السكينة عليهم وأثابهم فتحا قريبا.
Translation: Allah was pleased with the believers when they pledged allegiance to you under the tree. He knew what was in their hearts, so He sent down tranquility to them and rewarded them with an imminent victory. Explanation: The above verse refers to Bayt-e Ridwan of Sahaba in Hudaybiyah.
ومغانم كثيرة يأخذونها وكان الله عزيزا حكيما.
Translation: They will acquire an abundance of booty. Allah is Almighty, the Most Wise.
وعدكم الله مغانم كثيرة تأخذونها فعجل لكم هذه وكف أيدي الناس عنكم ولتكون آية للمؤمنين ويهديكم صراطا مستقيما.
Translation: O believers, Allah has promised you many spoils which you shall acquire, and has given you these spoils with all promptness. He has restrained the hands of enemies from you so that it may serve as a sign to the believers and that He may guide you all to the right path. Explanation: This verse is reported to be an indication of the spoils of the Battle of Khaybar, which Allah promised to Muslims. Brief history: Khaybar was a stronghold of Jews located 150 kilometers north of Medina, en route to Syria, which was taken over by Muslims in 7 AH 629 AD. Jews had built strong fortresses in that area which were considered unassailable those days. Earlier, two Jewish tribes were exiled from Medina, namely, first Banu Khaynuqa, exiled in 2 AH, and second Banu Nadir, exiled in 3 AH. Both these tribes were exiled for their repeated violations of the terms of the Charter of Medina agreed upon by all tribes in Medina. They had also challenged the authority of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and were repeatedly conspiring to assassinate him. After their expulsion from Medina, a large number of people took refuge in Khaybar, while some migrated to Taif. In the Battle of the Trench in 5 AH, the Jews of Khaybar had joined forces with Quraysh in attacking Medina. There was another Jewish tribe living in Medina, namely Banu Khurayza, who were also the signatory of the Charter of Medina. But when Medina was under the siege of Quraysh-led confederates in the Battle of Trench, the Jews of Khurayza openly allied with the attacking army as they thought that Quraysh-led confederates will take over Medina. Thus, when the Battle of Trench ended, Muslims took over the tribe of Banu Khurayza. The Jews of Khaybar were not happy for the expulsions and takeover of Jewish tribes in Medina, and they vowed to take revenge. They started building up their forces to attack Medina. After the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, the situation changed. Since Quraysh had entered in a peace treaty with Muslims, they were not free to join forces with the Jews of Khaybar to attack Medina. In Muharram 7 AH 629 AD, Muslims marched to Khaybar with 1500 men and about 200 horses. The Jews were caught by surprise. They were asked to submit, but they made fun of the offer and vowed to teach a lesson to Muslims. They shut themselves into their fortresses as Muslims besieged them. However, all their forts fell one by one except their main fort called Khamus, which was regarded as impregnable. The Muslim siege of this fort was dragged on for 21 days. The commanders of the Muslim army were changed every day for the fresh attacks. However, they did not succeed. One day, the Prophet ﷺ announced that the following day he will give the command of the Muslim army to a person who is loved by both Allah and His Apostle ﷺ, and he will conquer the fort of Khamus. The following day, the Prophet ﷺ called Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu and sent the Muslims to attack the fort under his command. When Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu reached near the entrance of the fort, he was challenged by the Jews for individual fight with their prominent warriors. Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu killed whoever came out for individual fight. Seeing that they were losing in individual fights, the Jews tried to enter their fort and close the door. But Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was very swift in attacking the door, and to the surprise of everyone, he uprooted the door from his hands, which was so heavy that several men were needed to lift it from the ground. Surely, it was Allah's mercy and Prophet ﷺ's support that helped Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu in uprooting such a mammoth gate of an impregnable fort. This is the reason that Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu is regarded as the victor of Khaybar. As the gate was broken, Muslims entered the fort. Whoever resisted the Muslim army was killed inside the fort. Soon, Jews realized that they cannot withstand the Muslim attack, and they laid down their arms and surrendered. Muslims did not plunder the fortress as the Prophet ﷺ declared amnesty to all Jews in Khaybar. A treaty was signed with the Jews by which they were allowed to live in the area freely, but were required to pay half of their produce to Muslims every year, as Muslims will provide them protection from any outside attacks. Jews continued to live in Khaybar oasis for several years until they were expelled by Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu during his caliphate for their anti-state activities. After the fall of Khaybar, Muslims marched to another smaller Jewish town known as Fadak, which was close by Khaybar. The Jews of Fadak did not fight and agreed to a similar treaty which was entered between Jews of Khaybar and Muslims. The Battle of Khaybar was an important turning point in the history of Islam. The Muslim rule was no longer confined to Medina and its immediate environs. It was extended to other parts of Arabia, and the Jews, who had been extremely hostile to the Muslims, had become the subjects of the Islamic State. And Quraysh could no longer depend on the support of the Jews against Muslims.
وأخرى لم تقدروا عليها قد أحاط الله بها وكان الله على كل شيء قديرا.
Translation: And He promises you other bounties. You are as yet not capable of achieving them, but Allah has embarked them for you. Allah is capable of accomplishing everything.
ولو قاتلكم الذين كفروا لولوا الأدبار ثم لا يجدون وليا ولا نصيرا.
Translation: If the unbelievers had engaged you in combat at that time, they would have turned their backs and fled. Then they would not have found any allies or supporters. Explanation: The above verse is related to the events at Hudaybiyah. Allah says that Muslims were prevented from fighting in Hudaybiyah not because there was a possibility of them being defeated, rather there were other reasons which have been described in the following verses. And if there was a battle, surely the Meccan polytheists would have been defeated and Makkah would have fallen to Muslims at that time.
سُنَّةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي قَدْ خَلَتْ مِن قَبْلُ وَلَن تَجِدَ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا.
Translation: Such is the norm, the established way of Allah, which is in force since a very long time. You shall not find any change in the established practice of Allah.
وَهُوَ الَّذِي كَفَّ أَيْدِيَهُمْ عَنكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ بِبَطْنِ مَكَّةَ مِن بَعْدِ أَنْ أَظْفَرَكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرًا.
Translation: And it is He who restrained their hands from you and your hands from them in the midst of Makkah through the peace treaty of Hudaybiyah. After that, He had made you victors over them, and Allah is the all-seer of what you do.
هم الذين كفروا وصدوكم عن المسجد الحرام والهدي معكوفا أن يبلغ محله ولولا رجال مؤمنون ونساء مؤمنات لم تعلموهم أن تطؤوهم فتصيبكم منهم معرة بغير علم ليدخل الله في رحمته من يشاء لو تزيلوا لعذبنا الذين كفروا منهم عذابا أليما.
Translation: It is they, the unbelievers, who prevented you from reaching the holy mosque and prevented the animals pledged for sacrifice from reaching the site of the sacrificial slaughter. But there were believing men and women in their midst whom you did not know. Unwittingly, you would have killed them, and unknowingly you would have suffered the sin of having killed the believers. Therefore, Allah restrained your hands so that He might admit into His mercy whomever He wants. Had they, the believing men and women, stood apart, we would have punished the disbelievers with the painful punishment. Explanation: Allah gives the reason for the peace treaty at Hudaybiyah and why Muslims were prevented to fight at the time. There were a lot of people who had become Muslims in Makkah but had not declared their faith publicly. If there was a fight at that time, these Muslims would have lost their lives. This was the wisdom of the peace treaty. After the peace treaty, all these people could declare their faith publicly and live like Muslims in Makkah.
إذ جعل الذين كفروا في قلوبهم الحمية حمية الجاهلية فأنزل الله سكينته على رسوله وعلى المؤمنين وألزمهم كلمة التقوى وكانوا أحق بها وأهلها وكان الله بكل شيء عليما.
Translation: remember when the disbelievers had filled their hearts with arrogance and pride of pre-Islamic ignorance, then Allah sent down the serenity upon His Apostle ﷺ and the believers, inspiring them to uphold the declaration of faith, for they were better entitled and more worthy of it, and Allah has knowledge of all things. Explanation. As per the practice of Meccan polytheists, no one was disallowed from entering Makkah if he comes unarmed with the intention of Umrah or Hajj. But they stopped Muslims from entering Makkah for performing Umrah even though they were in Ihram and unarmed. Their decision was the result of their false prestige and arrogance. Allah says that He sent down the serenity upon His Apostle ﷺ and believers with which they did not get provoked by the stubborn behavior of Meccan pagans.
لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين محلقين رؤوسكم ومقصرين لا تخافون فعلم ما لم تعلموا فجعل من دون ذلك فتحا قريبا.
Translation. Indeed, Allah has in all truth shown the vision to His Apostle ﷺ that, Allah willing, you shall enter the Masjid al-Haram, fearless and secure, to perform Umrah or Hajj, and some having their heads shaved and others having their hair cut, for He knows what you do not know. So, He granted you a near victory before the fulfillment of that vision. Explanation. A thought was bothering to some Sahaba that since the Prophet ﷺ had seen in his dream that they were doing Tawaf of Kaaba and they came all the way for that, but they were returning back to Medina without entering Makkah, how is it possible? The above verse clarifies their doubt, saying that this travel was a prelude to their entering the Haram and doing Tawaf of Kaaba soon.
هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا.
Translation. It is He who has sent His Apostle ﷺ with guidance and the religion of truth, Islam, so that He may make it Islam superior over all other religions, and Allah is all sufficient as a witness.
محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود ذلك مثلهم في التوراة ومثلهم في الإنجيل كزرع أخرج شطأه فآزره فاستغلظ فاستوى على سوقه يعجب الزراع ليغيظ بهم الكفار وعد الله الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات منهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما.
Translation. Muhammad ﷺ is the apostle of Allah, and those with him are strong against the unbelievers and compassionate to each other among themselves. When you see them, you will find them making ruku, bowing down, and sujood, prostrate in prayers, and craving for the blessings from Allah and His approval. They have the marks of sujood, prostration, on their faces, the traces of their prostration. This is their similitude in the Tawrat, and their similitude in the Injil is they are like the seed which puts forth its sprout, then strengthens it, then becomes thick and stands firmly on its stem, delighting the sowers of the seed, so that through them he may enrage the unbelievers. Yet to those of them who will believe and do good deeds, Allah has promised forgiveness and a great reward. Explanation. Allah praises the Sahaba who were with the Apostle of Allah ﷺ in Hudaybiyah and who did the pledge of allegiance on his hand.
صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.